I'm here today with Rebecca Fitch. She's host of the YouTube channel Science with Bexy, and we are going to have a little conversation on this Saturday. It's in the afternoon for her, and it's midday for me, so we can get started with some questions back and forth. I'll start. I love your YouTube channel, and I know that well, I won't say your goal for you. What was your goal in creating the YouTube channel?
Well, when I first started, it's basically because I want to show more students and young people that science, but especially physics, isn't that boring, isn't that difficult. I feel like physics has one of the worst reputations out of all the sciences for just being nerdy and stuff. Especially with Big Bang Theory, that's typical stereotype of physics. And I guess I just wanted to help try change that, and show people that there are other types of physicists out there, and especially if people are struggling with it, I try and communicate it really simply and a bit fun and wacky as well. So yeah, the goal is to try and get more people to realize that I guess physics isn't all that bad, and it can be fun and simple and exciting, and help try get kind of more students to take it into higher education, because I feel like a lot of students, especially females, are kind of afraid to do that at the moment. So yeah, that's kind of the goal with the YouTube channel.
When you were in school, did you find that it was presented to you as this nerdy subject and you had this barrier to overcome? Did you find something that sparked your interest, or did it take a minute for you to really like physics?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize my passion for physics until A-levels. So I'd already chosen my 4 A-levels, and I chose physics as my token science one.
Now, for Americans, can you describe A-levels for them?
So A-levels is, so it's ages 17 and 18. So the last 2 years of school before you go to university. What's that for you guys?
It's high school. They don't have a test like that. They have the SATs that the school, or ACT, both of them, that you take into consideration, or just your GPA. And then your first few years of college, you get to choose what you want to do. Then they may have a test then in your department, but not into university like that.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, well, we have to, at the age of 17 and 18, those 2 years, we have to specialize in 3 or 4 subjects. And often you take 4 on and then you drop 1. So in the last year before university, you're only doing 3 subjects.
Okay.
So yeah, I chose physics as my token one because I was kind of encouraged to by parents and stuff. And then it wasn't really until that first year of A-levels that I realized I was actually all right at it. And I thought, oh, maybe I should pursue this at uni. So yeah, last minute I had to take up maths, teach it myself over the Christmas holidays so that I could switch. And yeah, that's it. Never looked back. What about you? What about your journey into chemistry? Did you always know that you enjoyed it?
My dad is an engineer, and he always really pushed science as a kid, but he always went about it the traditional route. So we went to science camps and things like that.
Really?
So Purdue University had, what was it called? It was called Super Saturday, and it was for kids probably first grade through high school. You could come on a Saturday at the university and there were classes. And so we would pack up the car and head up and go. It was 2 hours away. And we went every Saturday, and I was the youngest one in there. And I really liked it because it was fun, but we only did the fun demo-y kind of things. And so, I mean, liquid nitrogen is really cool, and so is an egg drop, but I have never had to use anything like that. And so one of the things I want to make sure in my work is, one, the science of every day, that science is everywhere and you can use it as a tool to explain things, but it's not always flashy like that, so that kids don't get really disappointed in what science is going to be. And then it's not just facts in a book. So I always knew I liked chemistry because that was the only class I found really challenging. I had
I was going to say chemistry was my worst. It's so difficult.
I was really bored in school. I got A's, and that's all I cared about was just getting my A's. And I
Wow.
was just doing what was necessary and pretty much the bare minimum, if I'm honest. I made sure I knew what I needed to get that, and I just coasted through
Oh my
until
goodness.
chemistry. And Mr. Collins, whew, he gave us entrance exams for college and things like that as our tests. And
Oh my
I
God.
had to really bring my A game, and I loved it. And so I went to college with that in mind. My dad really wanted me to be a doctor, so I kind of went that route for a bit. I even took the MCATs, did not do well on them because it was not a passion of mine. I didn't really,
Yeah.
and it, I always knew I wanted to do something in science. I just wasn't quite sure what.
Interesting. So then, what was your journey, I guess, through education and higher education? So you went to college not really knowing what you were going to do?
Yeah, I was very fortunate in that I had the right people at the right time recognize something in me that I didn't see in myself. I had to do, I don't know if at uni you had financial, well, because college is different there, we had financial aid packages where you had to work on campus.
Okay.
And one of mine, I was a TA for a class. It was nursing level chemistry, and I was to help set up labs. And I met with this teacher who she was a professor. She had her doctorate, and she's also a nun. And she was just this amazing mentor. And she was like,
Wow.
I think you'd be good at this. And she just happened to catch some of my questions, and she let me start to design labs. And she sat down with the education department at my school, which was really small, and they talked about, was there still time for me to pursue this? Because I was a junior, and so my third year, and they decided, yeah, we could fast track this. This could happen. And so my university, all my advisors, they all worked together, and I was able to go through the teaching program as a minor. I don't know if I ever officially got all the certification at the end for the minor, but it got me to what I needed.
Yeah.
And then I went
That's
to
crazy.
graduate school for bench chemistry. And there was a program from the National Science Foundation where they took graduate students and put them in schools, in inner city schools, to teach them how to speak to the public better,
Wow.
which I thought was really cool. And I got to work
Yeah.
with some kids in some of the project schools. And I just was fascinated in how misinformed I was about education. And so being able to see it in person and see the questions the kids asked and how to explain my research to a 10-year-old, or
Yeah.
how to make them feel like a scientist, that
Mhm.
totally switched. Like, I got really interested in that.
Oh, nice.
And then my journey would not be what it is if I hadn't had brain surgery. That's a totally crazy side.
What?
I was sick. We found out I needed to have brain surgery, and I just was like, okay, life's way too short to become a bench chemist. I am not
Yes.
interested in that. And I remember telling my dad in the hospital, I was like, I'm going to get my PhD in learning sciences. Is that cool? And he's like, whatever you want to do. Like, you do whatever you
Whatever. Wow.
So since then, that's what I focused on. It was kind of like I said, I had mentors along the way, and then I had
Yeah.
kind of a life-altering moment where what really mattered to me, I changed. Like, I was
Like
just
life-affirming events
yeah,
that made you realize what you wanted to do.
yeah.